welcome to the Power Gamer Podcast. I'm your sun-baked host, Mike Dawson, joined this week by none other than Johnny Paulus.
What up?
I just got back from the beach, man. I'm still kind of like in that mode of vacation and vacation life. Vacation was really cool. I did things that people our age don't do normally.
Such as?
I rode spinny rides.
Oh, I love spinny rides.
And I didn't vomit. I did the Matterhorn, the Himalayan, the Tilt-A-Whirl, the Gravitron, and then even the shitty Tremper's roller coaster down there in Ocean City. So
nice.
And didn't yak. So I'm proud of myself for that. And had a good trip, and I'm already thinking about the next one. It was one of those where I got back, I'm like, I think I need to go back. What am I doing in a couple months? That's been going on as well. I guess I can kind of talk about this now because it seems like it's starting to finally grow legs. I might be heading off to Belgium in September.
Really?
Some work related to do's there, but got all my passport paperwork filled out and see about doing that for work to go out and visit one of my manufacturers. So might get to leave the country.
Hell yeah.
I'm all for that. I've never done that before. So that's basically my week in a nutshell. What are you up to?
Well, in when you look in the gaming news of scarcity of product, everyone talks about how you can't get a PlayStation 5, you can't get an Xbox. Well, all of us PC gamers know that the thing you really can't get is an RTX 3080 NVIDIA video card. I have been following Twitter accounts that give notifications of RTX 3080 now in stock on this website, RTX 3080 now in stock on this website, and had notifications on and have been actively like jumping at the opportunity. Every time they pop up, I'm going, all right, let's try. Add to cart. Nope. Add to cart. Nope. Add to cart. Sold out. All right, missed my chance. I'll try again in 4 days. And I've done this for over a year. Now, last year, when I got the stimulus check and I had the tax return and I had all that money, I was ready to spend like $1,200 on a 3080. That's kind of what the going rate was online. Yeah. And I got a notification like 3 days ago that Best Buy had the RTX 3080s in stock. So I went and I looked, and they had the EVGA, which was $1,200, and they had the MSI that was $1,100. And then they had the NVIDIA Founders Edition, which is the original. When they first released the 3080, it's an actual NVIDIA-branded 3080 with a single fan. It's a really nice, simple-looking video card. It was $699. And I went, so add to cart, and it went checking location. We have one available at Glen Burnie. Do you want to pick it up there? We'll hold it for 10 minutes, and the timer starts going, and I pick up the phone and go, honey, you know that video card I've been trying really bad to get? Well, I know I can sell my 2080 for like $350 to $400, and I can scoop this one for $699, and then I'm good for a few years. She sighed and said, okay, and I did it. So I have a 3080.
Nice.
And I got it installed today, and I started running it through its paces. The coolest thing to see was to open up Cyberpunk, turn all the settings on, including I turned the ray tracing lighting setting to Psycho. When you look at the ray tracing lighting, there's like low, medium, high, extreme, and then Psycho. I put it on Psycho, ran the benchmark, and it averaged like 72 frames a second. So right now I'm kind of future-proof for at least a year or two. I'm going to be able to max out any game I touch, which is where I like to be in the PC Master Race game. So yeah, I'm very excited that I got my 3080, and now I got to talk Mike into buying my 2080. so you can play his racing games at full frames per second.
A PSA for anyone listening to this, and Johnny, I just threw this link up in our chat window here.
Yeah.
But the 3080s have basically come back in stock in force.
Yep.
At this point, and they're pretty readily available for fairly reasonable prices. Looks like on Amazon, honestly. I was getting some notifications today myself. And I mean, as of right now, sitting here recording, I could add to cart a Gigabyte RTX 3080 for $769, so $70 more than Johnny paid at Best Buy. But you know, I don't have to do anything.
Thank you, Ethereum, for finally dropping and giving the miners less of an incentive.
All crypto is just fucking tanking right now.
And that's why the video cards are attainable now. Gamers are willing to spend the regular price, but we don't want to go scalp one for $500 more than what they sell for, which has been the situation for like 15 months. Like,
yeah,
ever since the 3000 series was announced, and the miners were like, oh my God, the hash rate on this thing, I'll buy 87 of them.
Yeah. And like you can snag the 3070s now for $599.
Yeah, the 2080 still outperforms a 3070 though, believe it or not.
Oh yeah, big time. But yeah, just kind of cool that these things are available once again.
The video cards have finally kind of come back down to earth a little bit. I'm still not super happy with where the price point of video cards are. I mean, last generation, the middle of the road video card was like, $500-600, and the top of the line was $1,200, and now it's more like the middle of the road is like $7 or $8, and the top of the line's like freaking $2,000. So price has definitely gone up, but I mean, when you go from the 2000 series to the 3000 series, it's a pretty significant bump in performance, which is the whole reason why I wanted, for the most part, for the last, 7-8 years, every time they release a new generation of NVIDIA and you look at the benchmarks and you're like, 8%, 10%. But I mean, I think the 3080 to the 2080 is something ridiculous, like a 40-50% bump. It's pretty dumb.
Yeah, the 2080 should serve me well.
It absolutely would. It's still, I mean, I never had an issue with it. It was an absolute tank.
Well, what's fun is because I always buy Johnny's secondhand stuff because I'm not into.
Yep.
Sim racing is awesome, but it does not require the most cutting edge anything because you're driving fast past things.
Right.
It sort of just plays in its favor that car games look good. So hypothetically, we already have Johnny's old PC, which is an i5 and a 1070 that's kicking ass still. We upgrade it to a 2080. Then the next move for me is to change chips, probably move over to one of those nice Ryzen 7 chip setups.
Yeah. And I honestly don't even think you'd need to do that for another year or two. I mean, especially because you game at 1080.
Yeah.
And at 1080, a 2080 with the chip that you have
kicks the shit out of everything.
It's going to kick the shit out of everything.
Yes.
My thing is I'm gaming at 1440 resolution with 144 frame rate. You're gaming at 1080 60 frames a second. So 1080 60 RTX I'm getting
1080 and as high as I can go frames wise.
With the RTX 2080, you'll be able to max out whatever at 1080. No problem.
My gaming on a PC gets output onto a flat screen television, so it's yeah. Anyway,
probably 60 hertz.
It's nothing crazy. It's an older television I have set up for that anyway. So,
but no, I'm pumped. In the Steam Summer Sale, I scooped up some games, and I'm ready to rock out some more games.
I have this thing, the Sony PlayStation 5 that basically satiates my need for performance. I'm not the master race though. I don't need psycho lighting settings. I think it looks awesome, but I digress. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. It is episode 73 of the Power Gamer podcast, as we always do, we're going to kick off this week's episode by first talking about the games that I've been playing. And Johnny's going to talk about the game that he's been playing.
Yeah.
Johnny, why don't you get us started? Because I am kind of excited that you have begun on this journey. I forget if we talked about this last week, because it seems like I think
I just started last week. Like, I think I'd fired it up and done like a mission or two. I'm now at the 25% mark in Red Dead, so I've been busy. I've been playing it quite a bit. I love living in this world. It's a really fun exploration, open world. You know, it feels it has that truly lived in feel that Witcher 3 has, where you know that any direction you go, you're going to find someone to interact with, find someone that tries to rob you, find someone that needs your help, find someone being attacked by a wolf that you can save them and get a payout. You know, there's never any shortage of things to do. And this is then compounded with the fact that apparently in the Wild West, I would have a gambling problem, because every time I see a poker table where people are playing poker, I will sit down and I will play poker until I clear the table. I've done this, I think, 4 times now, where I'll just sit down and go, all right, I'm going to take all your money. Everybody here is going broke. And I've done it every time. I haven't busted out yet. So, but no, I love the world. I finally did my first like big money splurge. So I upgraded my outfit and my hat, and then I went to the gun shop and I tweaked out all my guns and customized them. And like, you know, I think I blew a good $300. And now I think my next money investment's going to be get the leather working tools for the camp, so I can start making bigger saddlebags and bigger stuff like that. So, but now I'm having an absolute ball with the game. I'm in love with it. I don't know why I didn't keep playing it when I bought it all those years ago, but I'm hooked now officially, and that's why it's the only game I've played this week. So
probably because you didn't have me to harass you about shelving things that you're 99% done playing.
Pretty much
4 years ago when this game came out. I mean, I was there in the background, but I wasn't nearly as prevalent as I am now. So, yeah, no, I pulled up last week, because you did. You were on the snowy mountain, so you were
I was at the very beginning,
of Red Dead Redemption 2, one of the greatest games ever made ever, and one of the last we'll see from Dan Houser with Rockstar. He's of course gone off and started his own video game company. So one of the great minds of the
do we know what they're
generation.
working on?
Single player stuff. So it's coming.
Awesome.
But last week you were working on Final Fantasy VII Remake and Neon White. I was really hoping to hear about the conclusion of Neon White this week.
Yeah, but, I've there's been a couple of nights where I'm about to go online, or I'm about to stream, or I'm about to game, and I almost click on that Neon White logo, and I Red Dead really has its hooks in me right now, and this is how the ADHD mind works, man. I just I get hyper focused on something until I'm not. And no, I mean, Neon White, I think I'm probably 2 sessions away from beating. Final Fantasy, I think there's more there at the end than I was expecting. I probably still have a good 3-4 sessions left.
That's typical JRPG stuff. It's like, hey, I'm at the end. No, you're not.
Yeah. You start to feel like it's wrapping up, and then all of a sudden there's a twist, and there's a lot more shit to do.
Oh yeah. Well, I guess that concludes what you've been playing this week. And even though, ladies and gentlemen, I was on vacation this past week, I was able to get quite a lot of shit done. So this past week, I think right near the end of last week, I was like, oh yeah, I picked up this game Slipstream for the Nintendo Switch, and it's pretty cool. Many hours later, I have completed Slipstream. I got the credits to roll on Slipstream because I did every single thing that you can do in Slipstream. And it's probably no surprise it being an arcade racer, but I have mastered this game, Slipstream. Slipstream is an important game to the show because Slipstream, of course, was released this year. It's very good, and it's very cheap. You can buy it for $10. It is great on the Switch, and it's really great when you throw it up on a big screen. General concept with Slipstream is it's very Outrun meets Top Gear. I think I said that last week.
Or Cruising USA, very similar.
Little less similar to that because it's really got that 16-bit era kind of graphical vibe. I would say it's actually more similar to F-Zero for SNES than Cruising, in a good way. So the main premise for the game is that it's a racing game, but it has a lot of different play modes. It has your classic cup progression, which when you clear 3 of the cups, then you get a 4th mystery cup unlocks, and it's the Diamond Cup, and that's how you beat the game. It has a Battle Royale mode, where at the end of each level, one of up to 16 racers gets eliminated, which is super fun. And then it has the Grand Tour mode, where you basically just have to run in succession 5 levels without running out of time on a single timer. So it's basically don't fuck up over 5 levels. And while you're not fucking up, you also have to beat a racer within each level. So really cool stuff there. What's awesome with this game is that in the cups, the main career mode, you can either do the boring version, which is where you just take a stock car and go in and run it, a la Mario Kart. The good version is where each car is a blank template, and you get money based on your finishing position in each race to buy upgrades for your car. And that shit is awesome because you could say, if you thought like the purple NSX style car was cool, but it was basically unusable the way it was set up stock, it doesn't matter because it's just what your car looks like, and you can build it however you want in the single player game, which is really awesome. The other thing that's awesome is, I guess somebody that worked there knew that their manual input drift system is cool, but not really that good. Because to initiate a drift normally, and basically anytime there's a turn in this game, you need to drift. So every time you come up to a turn, you have to go from gas, brake gas. But there seemed to be some issue, and this is a musical term, so forgive me, but there seemed to be some issue with the polyphony of how many inputs you had at a time. And so if you were turning the car and going from gas into brake into gas again, a lot of times the drifts wouldn't hook up. Like you'd have to have had the wheel reset to straight, timed it there, then changed direction for it to hook up on the new drift. And I was like, man, this is just really fucking next to impossible to get right when your car is like flying down the road at 300 kilometers per hour. So fortunately, they have an auto drift mode where you just turn in, just like the old Outrun games, just like the old Top Gear games. You don't have to fuck with all this nonsense. What would have been awesome is if they had done the drift the same way that F-Zero did it on the Super Nintendo, where you just hit one of the bumpers. Yeah. Or the same thing Mario Kart does. They should have just done that, because that would have been more like in a car anyway, where you can initiate the drift by letting off the accelerator, pulling an e-brake, and then getting back into it.
Well, and especially in like a sort of simplistic style arcade racer, that would just make sense to just have there be a drift button.
And trying to fat your thumb like off A onto B, back onto A, and do it quick enough to make the turns and stuff, that it just wasn't working. So the auto drift, though, set it up just like an old school arcade game, and that sort of was a nice saving grace for it. So Slipstream is one of the best games I played this year so far, and it was released this year, so it maybe ends up in a conversation at the end of the year. Who knows? It's been kind of soft so far. Yeah. Especially in the racing category. And we've had Gran Turismo 7, which we're going to get on here more in a second because I went back to that some this week. But Slipstream, get it, $10, Switch, buy it now. Definitely go buy it. It's fucking fantastic. Also on the Switch, you can tell I was on vacation. I saw a game that I initially was just looking at as a gag. And it's this game called Sudocats. And Sudocats is the combination of the word Sudoku and cats.
I see what they did there.
And instead of the numbers 1 through 9, they have adorable kittens. And it's 9 different cats. So 1 is an orange cat. 2 is a black cat taking a nap. 3 is like a cow pattern kitty. 4 was a Persian. 5, I have these all burned in my brain now. 5 was a Russian blue, sort of like my Hermes.
Was there a Maine Coon representing?
6 was a tortoiseshell cat. 7 was an all white cat. 8 was an all black cat. And then 9 was sort of your normal, like brown and striped kind of kitty.
Okay.
I was laying on its back with its tums hanging up. So I affectionately just would refer to that cat as Tum Tums.
Okay.
So as I'm sitting playing this on the beach and in our hotel room and all over the place, my wife hears me saying things like, okay, orange cat, blue cat, Tum Tums. It's like, what the fuck are you doing over there, Mike?
I'm playing Sudocats. Get off my back.
So, and what's interesting with Sudocats, it's $2 on Switch. Okay, there's no excuse to not buy this if you like cats and Sudoku, or even just kind of like Sudoku, or even just kind of like cats. But here's what's cool about it is each cat actually has a story behind that cat and that icon. And as you play the game, you unlock the 9 different cats and their stories, and you can learn about the real life cats that the cartoons are representative of. The game also features an in-depth guide on how to IRL introduce the cats that you go out and adopt to the cats that you've already adopted. So it has a full guide built into the game if you need that information of how to go get more cats. Because ultimately this game wants you to play Sudoku, and it wants you to go adopt more cats. That's what this game is about. It had 9 levels with 3 puzzles a piece. So 27, and then an additional 12 bonus levels to clear the game. The first 27 levels are pretty easy. Those 12 bonus levels are fucking heinously hard. Very fun game, though, especially for those who like Sudoku and cats, such as myself. And for $2, it's a release from this year. So again, a relevant game. Perhaps
could it make the top 10? Is Sudocats going to make the cut?
Could the little Sudocats get into the goatee conversation? Probably not, but a fun game nonetheless, and certainly for our Switch users, a game that you should get. It just came out like a week or 2 ago, so $2. Check out Sudocats. If I haven't made Johnny feel bad enough yet, I also completed Ace Combat 7. Another big game that I'd been working on. Basically, as soon as I got, before I left for vacation, I said, okay, I need to knock this game out before I go. So I completed all 20 campaign missions of Ace Combat 7. The game is very fun, very good. I can't wait to check out the Top Gun DLC for it. I'll probably be getting that soon. But I wanted to run through all the campaign missions, and I did, and rolled in credits. It's a hard game. It's definitely made much more playable by the fact that I use a HOTAS flight stick system. That is the throttle and joystick for sim flight. The last level of this game is something else. You know, I run into a lot of games, and I'm beginning to notice this is definitely something in terms of with Japanese games in particular, where the last level is just absurdly different from the rest of the game. Hey, you know what? Actually, it's not just Japanese games. Basically everything. Of late.
They pull the kitchen sink out for that last level.
Boy, did they. So everyone's seen Return of the Jedi. Let me rephrase. Everyone I think I want to be friends with has seen Return of the Jedi. Yeah, there's some exceptions there, especially with the younger crowd. I don't hold it against them if they haven't. But the last mission of Ace Combat 7 is Return of the Jedi in a fucking modern fighter plane, which is really sounds good on paper, man. But in real life, in a game that tends to flirt more with realism than it doesn't, man, that wasn't a great call. That was not a great call. Because when you're flying
your hair out,
when you're flying an F-35 into an access tunnel, that doesn't work so great. Flying an F-35 in an access tunnel, and it's not what your mind thinks it's like, where you're like just with the joystick. Like, it's not like I'm playing fucking Chorus and trying to do this, where that would be no big deal. No, I'm simming an actual airplane that moves like an actual airplane. So when you turn the stick, you just pitch your wings, and then when you want to take that pitch and then turn, you got to pull back. And so you're going through a twisty tunnel system. So if you thought Tom Cruise navigating that fucking canyon in Top Gun Maverick was badass, you should have seen me navigating an enclosed tunnel in an even bigger fucking airplane. And so you get through the tunnel, and then there's this big fucking underground room with shit in it that you got to blow up. I'm like, it's the goddamn Death Star. So I'm flying around in not a spaceship, an actual airplane that has to deal with the fucking laws of gravity, shooting ship. And then it's like, all right, Ace, you got to get out of there. There's a vent shaft in the ceiling. And lo and behold, these motherfuckers put a vent shaft in the ceiling. And so now I've got to take this real ass airplane, pull back the throttle, find this shit in the roof, and then in an X-Wing, if you just need to fly straight up in outer space, it's just like flying sideways. It's fucking outer space. This is a goddamn eagle on Earth trying to fly straight up and not move around, because you touch something, that's it. You're dead.
So here's my question on that last mission. Was this one of those games where when you die, it says restart from checkpoint, and then now you're back at the end of the
entrance
tunnel,
of the tunnel
room? Okay, so at least it wasn't restart mission.
The mission starts at the tunnel.
Oh, so you die, you're back at the entrance.
Correct.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's pain.
And I let loose something that apparently the entire family heard.
I believe it.
As I'm sitting in my sim rig with my headphones on, forgetting that I have children upstairs. And I just exclaim at the top of my lungs, whose dick do I have to suck to beat this fucking game? And that's my review of Ace Combat 7. I did it.
But not without trials and tribulations.
But not without first inquiring to the universe whose dick I needed to suck to beat that game. Ace Combat 7. Definitely check it out. It's a great time. Speaking of the 7th entry in game series, I also played some more Gran Turismo 7. Actually just got done playing Gran Turismo 7 before hopping on here. The economy's fixed. Thank God. The economy is fucking fixed. It's awesome. The main thing that got me to go back over to it was they finally added Watkins Glen to fucking Gran Turismo. And Watkins Glen, it's a racetrack in New York. It's one of my favorite racetracks of all time. And it's so awesome to see that in a Gran Turismo game. So they put that in. And then for everyone that played, like that was an OG Gran Turismo player and played Gran Turismo 2, you know what the Suzuki Escudo is if you played Gran Turismo 2. Because it basically was a shoe with a giant wing on the back that had 1,000 horsepower. And it was just bananas fast. And like once you had that car, that was the fastest car in the game. They brought back the goddamn Escudo. And you would think from all the earlier reports of how bad the economy was that, oh, it's there, that's sweet, but now I need to either pay $1,000 or play the game for 9 million hours to be able to afford it. It's like 1.5 million credits, which in the new economy, you can get in like 10 minutes, if that.
Sweet.
So like they basically gone back and went, okay, earning credits is really easy now, and here's all the shit that you wanted, go buy it. So Gran Turismo 7 is back in the running here to be awesome once again. And I'm just pushing through right now. I'm going to get to the credits rolling moment of that game. So basically when you complete all the cafe, when you complete all of the licensing, and when you complete all the challenges, I'm going to do all that. And then have my final thoughts on it probably sometime here later in the year. Finally, Octopath Traveler. I'm just going to be talking about this game for a while because it's big and it's great, and I haven't stopped playing it yet, and it's awesome. The only game I would say that's missing from my list is I did pop in Dying Light 2 last week and start it, but I haven't touched it since because of the vacation. Cats got my attention instead. So we will hopefully go back to Dying Light 2 here and have more to talk about with that game, as it is one of my pressing games to get through that was released this year. Now, Slipstream I played by myself. Cats obviously by myself. Ace Combat 7 played it by myself. Gran Turismo 7 you can play online, but let's be honest, I've been playing it by myself. Octopath Traveler, I've been playing that by myself. Johnny, you were playing, what game were you playing again?
I was playing Red Dead Redemption 2.
And were you playing that online, or were you playing that by yourself?
No, I was playing it by myself.
Huh.
Yeah.
So everything that we've been playing and talking about, you would say is a single-player experience?
Yeah. Yeah, this week, yep.
Oh, yeah.
Most weeks.
So some weird things happened on the internet while I was away, basking in the sunlight, eating Boardwalk French fries and Grotto's pizza and fountain sodas and all sorts of goodness. And EA just kind of said, you know what? It's been a while since we had some bad press, and we need just to go ahead and do something really fucking stupid so we can get some bad press again, because it's been too long since we had some, and we have got the itch, and we need some bad press again.
Well, and there's been a trend going on Twitter this past week, and the joke is they're a 10, and it's just setting up these jokey sort of like, this person's a 10 except for
they're 10, but they
flaw.
play with a Mad Catz controller. That would have been funny.
Correct. That would have been funny. Yes, that's a perfect example.
Yeah.
But what did EA tweet in this trend?
So now look, I'm a grain of salt guy here. Okay. Ultimately, the Twitter of EA is one person who is their community manager.
Yeah.
With a cell phone. Okay. And I'm not so stupid to lose sight of that. So just want to get that out in front first.
Yeah, that's fair.
The community manager of EA tweets, they're a 10, but they only like playing single player games. It's like the dumbest thing EA of all companies could employ someone that thought would be funny to make a tweet like this. Not only is it tone deaf, and not only has EA famously learned that its strength is in its single player games, Anthem, but they also have like a dozen studios working on single player projects right now.
Yeah.
Something like that. EA, that's the company with Mass Effect and Dragon Age. And doesn't Vince Zampelli work with EA? Doesn't he work there, I think? And doesn't he make a game called what was that game called, Johnny? You don't know?
Vince Zampelli? I don't know.
So
you're getting too deep in the video game weeds for me.
Okay,
there.
Vince Zampella is responsible for Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh, yeah.
And Titanfall. Vince Zampella was the founder of Infinity Ward, who famously got run out by Bobby Kotick being a giant fucking penis.
I'm totally on board with you now. Yes.
So
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, and the really fucking frustrating thing from this tweet, and again, it's one guy saw a trend and went, har, what can I do to get in on this trend that's happening right now on Twitter?
Then pissed off everyone.
Is that EA has been so focused on multiplayer that everything else has suffered, right? Battlefront 2 comes out, the single-player campaign, while it's not bad, there's not enough of it, and then the multiplayer is all loot box hell. And then Battlefield 2042 comes out, and it's like an unplayable mess. Is still, to this day, from what I understand, a really buggy piece of shit.
Yeah, it sucks.
And so it's not, you guys aren't the kings of multiplayer. Like, I know that Apex is a really big moneymaker, and I get that. But you aren't the kings of multiplayer anymore, and you're not the kings of single player anymore. You're not the kings of shit, so maybe don't throw stones in the glass house.
Yeah, some of the responses...
They're the kings of football games, the end.
Well, and even that, they don't have FIFA anymore. So, by their own choosing, allegedly. So, some of the responses to this were quite funny. And some of them were kind of sad. One of my favorite studios was Visceral Games, which EA closed back in, I think, 2018 or 2017. Visceral Games got shut down because they were making single-player games. And, Dead Space, Dante's Inferno. EA used to be in front of a lot of great single-player games that they just sort of decided in that period that, oh, look at what Destiny's doing. We've got to do that. And then came out with their own piece of shit broken product years after the gold rush and ditched what they were good at. So, they also got this is a good one. Tweeted from Blair Brown. Quote, my company, unable to muster up the courage to say the overturning of Roe versus Wade is pretty horrific. Also my company, with multiple teams making single-player games. Inserts the quote. Oof. Vince Zampella just tweeted a facepalm, the most famous video game producer and designer of all time. Just
That's all he needed.
Just
to say.
sent a facepalm. Yeah.
I mean, it's just again, for the third time, we understand it's a person that works for EA that made a tweet, but it is really tone deaf. For anybody that has frustrations with EA, which at this point, let's face it, is probably all gamers. There's not a whole lot of EA stands left out there that are going, oh, but it's EA. We know it's going to be good. No, those days are gone. If EA's name is on it, you're instead saying, ooh, but it's EA, so we don't know.
Yeah.
Occasionally some gold will slip through, but that's a tone deaf ass tweet, period.
Another fun one. I'm pulling all this from the article written by Video Games Chronicle to give them credit here. But Sebastian Hanlon, who was the one of the Dragon Age series designers, put out a tweet where he recalls while they're in a board meeting with EA that EA tells them, the BioWare employees, just be more careful than usual about what you say. You represent the whole company, whether you like it or not. He says, reflecting on when EA said this. So,
the main EA account tweets that.
Yeah, and what is the most anticipated project that EA is working on right now? Two of them, honestly. 3 of them.
Jedi Survivor. Dragon Age. What's the name of that one? Wolfblood.
Mm-hmm. And the new Mass Effect.
And, yeah.
And the Dead Space remake.
Yep.
So, I have a strange feeling that if you have a desire, listener, to become a community manager, that one of the largest game publishers in the world might be looking for one. As of now, hopefully. So
hopefully their finger is on the pulse of the gaming community, because they brought out a powder keg, set it down in the middle of the fireworks warehouse, and just set it on fire and went, let's see what happens.
Well, and then the person that runs the Twitter, you can tell is some 20-year-old fucking brick, some bucket of sand that lives in his parents' basement and has a cell phone, because they respond to all this, quote, roast well deserved. We'll take this L because playing single player games actually makes them an 11.
Oh my
roast
God.
Well deserved. We'll
just
take
delete
this
the tweet.
We'll take this L because playing single player games actually makes them an 11. Isn't that the most cringy shit?
Dude, I hadn't seen that tweet, and you reciting that tweet to me caused physical pain.
Can you imagine?
The cringe level actually hurt me.
Can you imagine being that kid and not having the fucking comprehension that Vince Sampella is reading this? Like that's how dumb as bricks this kid is. They're so stupid they're not even embarrassed that message is going to be read by Vince Zampella.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, again, this trend has been going on all week on Twitter, and the entire concept is they're a 10, but here's a major deal breaker. Like, imagine Scarlett Johansson, but she likes shitting on the bed. That's the trend, right? She's a 10, but they're a 10, but they really only like single player games. That's your deal breaker? They got to sit down and play Apex with you, or else they're out. I'm done.
I also like their usage of the word "we will take this L." Yeah, if you're looking to be a community manager, get that resume together. Perhaps if you can write at a 5th grade level, it looks like that's all that was originally required for this job. So, moving on, There was
so cringe. God,
there was yet more video game announcements this week. More video game announcements. That's right. We haven't had enough in the past month. We have to have more. Now it's time for Nintendo to get back in with a self-described and correctly named mini Nintendo Direct. This was focused mainly on their third-party partners. So why is that? Probably to give them an out from me criticizing them for not giving us any more information about the next Zelda game, which there was none. But that being said, there was some interesting stuff shown, particularly for myself, who has become quite the avid Switch player this past year. So moving on to the Nintendo Direct Mini. Just a few games that we wanted to talk about. I want to start on a low note here, and Johnny might disagree with me here, but I'm going to start on a low note here. Sonic Frontiers looks like fucking trash. Like, it looks like a hot steaming pile of garbage, and there's nothing on the internet that says or shows otherwise. I'm looking at what they're showing in a conference, and my jaw is frankly just on my desk, watching textures pop in and out of place and all this other gobbledygook that we frankly don't see from other games that look a lot better than Sonic Frontiers that already run on the Switch. Some fine examples of that would be Kirby's Forgotten Land, the Mario Odyssey, all the Mario games that Ubisoft makes. We can go on. Obviously, the giant masterpiece that is Breath of the Wild that came out in fucking 2017. So this is a brand new game from Sega that looks like someone that doesn't know what they're doing is putting this game together and about to release it. Now, apparently it's coming to all major platforms, which makes the whole scenario even more ironic that we can't find a single trailer that shows the game running any better than what they've shown us at Nintendo Direct. So I'm a little off put by this. Johnny, what's your take on Sonic Frontiers?
Well, we've stated this before. I'm the Sega stan. You're the Super Nintendo stan. I had a Genesis. You had a Super Nintendo. That's one spot where our river parts a little bit. So I'm definitely a Sonic stan, and I want to be on the silver linings in the cloud here. I'm excited about this game. I think it looks like a lot of fun. I do find it really strange that we have not seen gameplay from PS5, PC, Xbox.
Xbox especially, because Sega's such a strong partner with Microsoft.
Yeah, so, I mean, to kind of rebuttal your comments a little bit, I mean, let's face it, Pokemon Arceus looks 3 times shittier than the graphics in this
Arceus, and no, it doesn't. I've actually...
Sorry. Yes, fuck yes, it does. Sorry. Arceus is hideous. Hideous. I've seen it in person. I've watched Twitch streams. That game is fugly. Fuglier than Sonic Frontiers.
I mean, it runs, though. you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but I mean,
it's one thing when you're an ugly game that's made by, again, a third party. That Pokemon Arceus is not made by Nintendo. It's made by Game Freak.
Okay, but you don't need to worry about texture pop in when your character walks 15 miles an hour. In a Sonic game, you're going fast. Like, the whole concept of this is it's an open world where you can go blast off and you can go, you want to go run 5 miles that way, you can do it. I mean,
I think that's a bad comparison, though. And for the very fact that you just stated.
Well, I mean, all I'm trying to say is that your comments about texture pop in and things like popping up and looking rough, and I'm still trying to be on the cautiously optimistic side of, I think that's a limitation of the Switch hardware.
But why?
Which does pose the question of, where's the next gen trailer? Where is?
I don't think it's a
Sonic
limitation
on
of the Switch
PS5
hardware. Nothing about that game says this looks any nicer than a game that came out in 2017. It's 2022. And Sega has experience making 3D games and 3D platformers, right?
Yep.
Well, does Game Freak? No. Arceus was the first foray into that. And frankly, at this point in time, yes, that game runs pretty well. So I am very concerned when at showcases, right?
Yeah.
When you're at a showcase, when Cyberpunk was making its round at showcases, right? Was it showing the terrible, fucked up, broken version of their product, or was it showing the incredible, jaw-dropping, let's sell some shit versions of it? Okay.
Yep.
CD Projekt Red hasn't been on the block nearly as long as Sega. Sega knows a thing or two about selling games and consoles. And you being a Sega stan, what was the old Sega saying? Sega does what Nintendo
don't.
Well, it looks like the games that are branded by Nintendo are fucking shitting all over their product by my spec.
No argument there.
And so I am. This is not the one. I love you, Johnny, but this is not the one where I want to see you march up the hill and fucking die on, because it's super concerning when you see this level of glitchiness and unpolish at a showcase. That's super concerning for me, and I guess I'll leave it at that because that's really my main point.
No, and I think why I started this conversation the way that I did, I am fully aware that my rose-colored lenses are on. I get that. I want a really good 3D Sonic game, and when I heard open world Breath of the Wild meets Sonic, I was like, fuck yeah, let's go. And so I know that I'm seeing the bad things that I should be like concerned about, and I'm still trying to stay on the positive side.
What?
I'm not trying to die on the hill. I'm not standing on a hill going, I'm buying this day one and this is going to be the game of the year. I'm not there, but I am standing on the hill of, I really hope this is good. I really, really hope. I mean,
why is he in a realistic looking field fighting weird fucking looking robots like from a JRPG? Like, why is that happening? Like, if it was gonna,
I thought the big boss looked cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of red flags for me, and like, I love Sonic games. I know you have this impression of Mike grew up with the SNES, but I mean, I have a massive Sega collection. I'm really into that system. I mean, right here over my shoulder. Oh wait, I got to go this way. That right there, that's a copy of Sonic 2 loaded into a Mark I Sega Genesis. Like, I love Sonic. And, the things that make Sonic great is the hilarity of it all. It's the tone of it. It's that music. Sonic's music is some of the best that's ever been composed for games.
I agree.
It's got this really lively, upbeat thing going for it. And, the sound effects with the springs and the rings and everything. Like, that's Sonic. And I get really concerned looking at Sonic Frontiers because I see an unpolished product and I don't see any of the fun that I associate with a Sonic game. Like I did on some of like the earlier 3D Sonic games, I mean, still these weren't absolute gems or anything, but like the Sonic Adventure games, like back in the GameCube PS2 era, which would seem to embrace a little bit more of that fun aspect. So,
well, no, Sonic Adventure was Dreamcast, baby.
Yeah, Dreamcast also. I've got it on. I have it on GameCube, but right, it did also come out on Dreamcast.
Yep.
So I don't know. It's coming out soon, which is maybe even more a cause for alarm. Sometime this holiday, if it doesn't get delayed, maybe this is one that gets delayed. If my eyes are being accurate.
I do find it very strange that we haven't seen anything next gen wise.
I just want to see a polished. I just want to see polished gameplay. It's not that far from a release. Yeah. So,
right.
On the other end of the coin, I think one of the best looking games we saw was a game called Blanc. Blanc is a word that I know what it means thanks to Eastbound and Down and La Flama Blanca. So Blanc, of course, would mean white. What's the game about? It looks like it's a game where a baby deer and a baby wolf are abandoned in the snow and are trying to find their way home. It's a wolf. So
it is a wolf.
He's a little black wolf. This game is going to be coming out next year in February on the Switch. It's got really great looking black and white visuals, which kind of also ties into the game. Looks like a puzzle platformer type thing. Johnny, what were your thoughts on Blanc?
It kind of gave me Journey vibes. Like if Journey had a couch co-op functionality where you and a friend could do a casual, let's explore the world. What's over this way? How do we get into here? Like didn't look like there's any combat. Didn't look like there's really any stress. It's just kind of figuring out how to get from point A to point B. It is also coming to PC, by the way, which I'm really excited about. This was my second favorite trailer of the Nintendo Direct. I think it looks great. Dude, the art style on this, they're clearly going the route of, what was the black and white game for Wii where the only color was red blood, and it was a gory, mature game on Wii?
Red Steel? Not Red Steel.
Anyway, you can Google that, and I'll go on this thing. Back in the Wii days, there was this game that was super gory and over the top, but the graphic style was strictly black and white, cel-shaded.
Mad World.
Mad World, thank you. And the only color in the game was red blood. And I think the reason why they went that route is because of the limitations of the hardware. We can make something that looks really great and runs really great because we have three colors. We have white, we have black, we have red, the end. There's not a billion different colors. So this game, just going black and white, it had that sort of pencil to paper, hand-drawn sort of style. It's really gorgeous. Like just go on YouTube and search Blanc, B-L-A-N-C trailer, and watch this trailer. I thought it was stunning. I mean, it looks beautiful.
It reminded me a lot of Chicory in terms of
Yep, I would agree.
Presentation.
Yeah, absolutely.
With less color.
With no color.
Exactly.
None. White and black, period.
So yes, Blanc, Switch, PC, February 23 is currently the target. We'll see if that holds up. Johnny, you had remarked about the new Mario and Rabbids game. I know that you are a fan of the tactical gameplay. This is coming October 20th of this year.
I'm excited to play the next one.
What say you, sir?
Well, I mean, I've always been a big fan of the XCOM turn-based tactical, Final Fantasy Tactics, those kind of games. And the last Mario Rabbids game, when I first bought the Switch, this was one of those games that I saw it on the shelf at Best Buy, and I think it was like $20. And I was like, shit, a Mario game for $20? It looks fun. I'll check it out. And I had a lot of fun with this game. It really is a pretty deep. It's easy to grasp. It holds your hand pretty well. It doesn't do the XCOM thing where like you can die and have to restart your entire playthrough. It's very much like a here's your characters,
permadeath Mario.
There's your fight. Yeah, no permadeath. I mean, so it's a lot less pressure. But the big thing I like with the Rabbids game is the boss fights. There's actually like really fun boss fights with different mechanics where you need to be hiding in certain places or you need to press a button so that this happens. I really liked the last one, and I'll probably be buying this one. So I'm just excited they're making another one.
I'm going to run through some of the other things that we were excited about, but come back to the one I think we want to have a little bit to talk on here for last. So I was interested in this game called Harvestella. Looks like Stardew Valley meets Final Fantasy. That's coming November 4th. So if you haven't watched the trailer yet for Harvestella, watch the trailer for that. Portal Companion Collection is out now. What is that? It's Portal 1 and 2 on the Switch in one package. So that's two
of the best puzzle games ever made of all time, period, end of story. If you have not played them and you have a Switch, buy it, play it.
If you have played them, just buy it and play it again.
That too.
No Man's Sky continues to not look like shit on the Switch. That's coming August 7th. For our RPG fans, mainly those of the Shin Megami Tensei series, got good news for Switch owners. Persona 5 Royal is making its way to Switch in the next 3 months. It's coming October 21st. The bigger news is that some older Persona games are also coming. Persona 4 Golden and Persona 3 Portable, the one released back on the PSP, will be coming to Switch, although no release dates given for 4 or 3. So we'll have to keep our eyes to the ground for those. Now,
So Mike, I'm guilty of never playing these games, and when I mentioned it before we started recording the podcast, you said that surprises me with you being a JRPG fan.
Yeah. Well, and Shin Megami Tensei and in general.
Is this turn-based JRPG?
Yeah, and what's also cool with Persona is there's a lot of meat on the bones with these games and navigating story in between combat and stuff. Persona is like the like a really charming like high schooler version that takes place in the Shin Megami Tensei universe. So they're really well done games. Persona 4 Golden is sort of hailed as like the king of the mountain of this series. Persona first came out on the original PlayStation, was where the first Persona game was. Persona 1 and 2 were PlayStation releases. Then
and you mentioned that they don't need to be played in order, so I can just go in completely blind into Persona 4 Golden and I'm fine.
Yeah, and I mean, if you want the most current one, which is also considered a masterpiece, Persona 5 Royal, just be prepared to have about 120 hours set aside for that game. It's a big boy. They're all big.
Ouchie.
They all take a very long time to beat. Not the best game series for someone with ADD that can only do one thing at a time.
Yeah.
But if you can kind of bounce back and forth, and see, this is what I like about the Switch, is Switch can be the bedtime machine. So you take it and you sit on the couch or you sit in bed and you can play it, for an hour a night. And I mean, you could do that for 100 nights and get your money's worth out of it. So, all right. The one that we really wanted to swing back around to was Return to Monkey Island. So Monkey Island, of course, is a beloved LucasArts release from way back in the day. One of the best adventure games of all time.
Yes.
There is some. They showed the new trailer for it at this Nintendo Direct, as it is coming to Switch and PC sometime this year. We're very excited to buy that as soon as it comes out. But there's more news around this game than just what happened in Nintendo Direct. Johnny, what's going on with Return to Monkey Island?
Well, the frustrating thing is that the internet, the meme of this is why we can't have nice things. That's what the internet did with this news. They release a trailer and they say, hey, Ron Gilbert is back. And we're doing a new Monkey Island story. Not a remake, not a remaster. It's not a sequel done by somebody else, right? Like they did a Telltale Monkey Island game. They've remastered Monkey Island 1 and 2, I don't know, 3-4 times. But this is news of Ron Gilbert's back. The original voice actor for Guybrush Threepwood is back. We brought back the original composers from the original games. Like, this is what Monkey Island fans have been wanting forever. And there were just a handful of people online that didn't like the new art style and started basically personally attacking Ron Gilbert and just saying shitty, hurtful things for no reason. Like, all art is subjective. It's okay to say, I'm not a big fan of this new art style. I hope the game's good, but I don't know. But no, the comment board on their website and the Twitter responses, and it was just everybody shitting on Ron Gilbert for like coming back to a franchise he hasn't touched in like, I don't know, 25 years. Is that really the welcome back you want to give him? I mean, it'd be like if George Lucas came back to Star Wars and said, here's my idea for the plot of this movie. And the entire internet just goes, fuck you, George Lucas. I don't like that idea. Which is what Star Wars
That's
fans
exactly
do.
what would happen.
It's just a shame that Monkey Island fans did that. Because this is a series that means a lot to me. If you had asked me at 10 What do you prefer, Mario or Monkey Island? I'd say fucking Monkey Island. Like I have played the first 2 Monkey Island games probably 20 times. And so I watched this trailer and I saw Elaine Marley and I saw Herman Toothrot and I saw LeChuck and I saw Guybrush and I saw really sick art style and I saw Stan the boat salesman, and I'm fucking pumped. I'm buying this day one. I cannot wait, and fuck what the internet did to Ron Gilbert. We can move on, but I'm really excited about it.
Likewise. Yep, can't wait to play it, and we will show him our support with our money. Johnny, that wraps up everything that we have to say about this Nintendo Direct.
Oh, I got to hit my button.
So that, of course, is going to bring us to our final segment of this week's show. Johnny, that segment is, of course, called... Ladies and gentlemen, that's right. It's time for One Up. Johnny, why don't you get us started this week? What is your One Up?
Sure. I was listening to one of my favorite podcasts, Fat Man Beyond. It's Kevin Smith and Mark Bernardin, and they riff on nerd shit, and they tend to bullshit at the beginning of the podcast, much like we do. And one of the episodes I listened to, Mark Bernardin was talking about this new Bollywood film that is on Netflix, and it is the 3rd highest budget Bollywood film ever made. And it is called RRR. If you go into Netflix and you just search the letter R 3 times, that is the name of the movie. It is 3 hours long. It has some of the most ridiculous action scenes I've ever seen in my life. It has some of the most charming characters that I've ever seen in my life. And it has like multiple dance/music numbers that come completely out of nowhere. Like, this movie is all over the place. If I had to give like a tagline for this film, it is the most entertaining movie that I've seen in a very long time. Is it better than insert great movie that came out this year or last year? No, it's not. It's not better than that. But I was glued to the screen and could not wait for the next scene for the entire 3 hours. I cannot recommend this movie strongly enough. It's funny, it's sweet, it's violent, it's over the top, it's crazy, it's gorgeous. It's some of the special effects are not great. Some of them are surprisingly really good. It's on Netflix. It doesn't cost you anything. Go on there and search RRR and watch that movie, because I fucking loved it. I actually want to watch it again. I want to sit and experience the 3 hours of ridiculousness all over again.
My One Up this week is Ozark.
Did you finally start Ozark?
No, sir. If you go to our chat, you can see what I'm about to talk about here. It's not just any Ozark. It's Ozark Trail.
Oh, boo.
I got a beach cart, and it was the best $48 ever.
Bro, you trolled me so fucking
It was
hard.
the best $48 I ever spent in my life. Have you ever been carrying all that shit down to the beach?
Oh my God.
You're like, why the fuck am I carrying all this shit down to the beach? Well, guess what? You need the Ozark Trail folding multi-purpose camp wagon cart.
I've been telling Mike that Ozark is one of the greatest television shows that I've ever seen in my life for over a year. And Mike, how many hours did you put into Sudoku this week?
An embarrassing amount, probably like 10 hours.
What, 20, 30?
Probably like 10 hours. Sorry.
Okay, so you could have knocked out Ozark Season 1 instead, and it would have been better than Sudoku.
Okay.
That's all I'm trying to say. And then you troll me with, I'm here to talk about Ozark fucking wagon cart.
I got you so good on that one.
You did. I'm done with you. I'll see you next week.
Man.
Fucker.
Well, unless Johnny has an aneurysm.
No, I'm good.
We will, of course, be back again next week with another great episode of the Power Gamer Podcast. Until that time, I'm Mike Dawson.
And I'm Johnny Paulus.
Tune in next time. Take care.
Catch you on the flip flop.
Ooh, yeah.